So now let me discuss a very important part of the power electronic course. Why you require isolation in driver circuit and sensing circuit. So first of all, we'll try to understand why you need a driver circuit and why you need a isolation in that. And then we'll talk about how do you sense current and voltage and whether you need isolation there. So as you know, in most of our power electronic based product, for example, if you talk about a motor controller for electric vehicle or a electronic converter for feeding solar power to the grid. So most of this modern control has a digital control platform where all those control algorithm logic you write in maybe in a microcontroller or maybe in a DSP. So those microcontroller or DSP, it has several input output pins, and then it will also have a ground pin. So all those pins potential are defined with respect to the ground, which is pretty standard. Now one of the whether the question arises whether you can drive a IGBT or MOSFET directly by using a microcontroller. So microcontroller will tell you when to turn on and when to turn off a particular switch. It will give you the desired duty ratio or the modulation index. Finally, it is generating the gate pulses. And basically, it is giving you the intelligent information when to turn on and when to turn off a particular switch. Now, problem with this microcontroller kind of devices is that their pin voltage and current ratings are pretty limited. For example, most of the microcontroller have the pin rating. Output pin rating could be 5 volt, 0 to 5 volt. So when it is you want to turn off the device, it applies 0 volt. When you want to turn it on, you apply 5 volt. And current rating could be less than 100 milliampere. Sometimes even lesser, depends on which one you are using. So now, as you have understood, when we discuss the switching behavior of MOSFET, IGBT, etc., the VGE or VGS that we apply, first of all, they should be more than the threshold voltage. Fortunately, the threshold voltage will be of the order of 2 to 4 volts. So still you can use a microcontroller just to turn on the device. But if you remember, we are using a VGS or VGE of the order of around 15 volt, because if you apply more voltage, then your RDS on comes down. So that is why we apply more voltage. Another reason of applying more voltage is that it can quickly charge or discharge the capacitor which is there at the gate terminal, which is required for faster switching. So if you want to switch on and off faster, you basically need to take out the charge from that gate capacitor quickly, or you want to charge the capacitor quickly. For that, you need high voltage to facilitate you the icon. So the same way, to turn on and turn off the capacitor, you need higher current. And this microcontroller rating is generally not good enough to facilitate you faster switching. Now let us assume that, forget about that, and let us assume that still we are happy with the current rating and we want to give our gate pulse from the microcontroller directly. So this is a circuit known as three-phase inverter. It has 6 switch. One example is that you have a battery and maybe this side you have a motor for electric vehicle. Now it is a 3-phase motor, so you have 3 phases. So let's just talk about only a single phase. So when I want to turn on this device, let's say if it is a BJT, so I have the base, then I have collector, I have emitter. So let me name them B1, E1. So for this, let me name it B2, E2 and C2. So if I want to give switching pulses to this device, what I'll do is that I'll connect E2 to this ground and B2 to one of the output pin. So there is no problem, it can take care of this. But if I want to give gate pulse to this device also, what I'll do is that again B1 I'll connect to one more output pin, but this E1 I have to again connect to the ground, because all the output pins, their potential are defined with respect to the ground, so turn on and off. But if you do that, you will figure out this point E1 and E2 you have actually shorted through the ground, right? So through this path you have shorted this simply. So this device, as if it is not there, it is already shorted. because both of their emitters are shorted. So as a result, as soon as you give a gate pulse to this device, when this device is turned on, this source is seeing a dead short. A very huge current will flow and your source may get damaged, this switch may get damaged. So this is the reason that in between you should use some sort of isolation. So I'll tell you how to implement this isolation. Now come back to this question, whether you require isolation always. Now if you look at this circuit, all the lower three devices, they have their emitters at a common point. So E2, let me call it, let's say E4, and if we call it E6. So all their emitters can be shorted together, so there is no problem. So for this kind of arrangement, you can use 3 pins to drive those 3 MOSFETs or IGBT or BJT. So they are not creating the short. But this point and this point potential, they are different. This point and this point potential are different. So you cannot short them through the ground. So this is why you need isolation in the driver circuit. So principally what you do is that if you have a microcontroller, let's say this is your ground pin and you have 2 pins, P1 and P2. So logically what you do is that you create some sort of isolation. You connect it here. From there you take, let's say, E1 and B1 or gate 1, whatever, and another arrangement you do where you connect to this, and then you give B2, E2. So here you can connect this. So this E1 and E2 finally, they are not at all at same potential. They are electrically isolated. Now this B2 and E2 you can directly connect to the device. This you can connect to the device, and maybe here also you can connect it to this device. So this is how you can implement this isolation required. So in one of our previous classes, we talked about how isolations are done. So there are mainly 2 possibilities. One, you use a pulse transformer, whose basic block diagram I have shown just now. And there is one more option is through optical medium. So we call them optocoupler. So this I have already discussed. So there between this light emitting diode and this phototransistor, there is no electrical connections. So when you apply high voltage or the high pulse from your microcontroller or the control circuit, remember this ground and this grounds are different. They are electrically isolated. So this emits light, and that light goes to this transistor, and if it emits sufficient amount of light, this transistor turns on, and when there is a zero potential here, this does not emit light, so this device is also off. So based on that, you can get a signal over here whether to turn on and off. This potential of this pulse you can decide by a separate source. So you need not limit it to 5 volt or 3.3 volt of your microcontroller. And you can, since you can use a separate source, so you can decide its current rating also. So you're not limited by the current rating of the microcontroller. Remember, the microcontroller is supposed to give you only the intelligent information. When to turn on and when to turn off. So a driver circuit is there in between, which takes that intelligent information and it converts, maybe you can think of that it amplifies the signal and gives isolation features. So let me quickly go. Same problem arises when you do design sensing circuit. So let's say again you want to sense this circuit. So you have a ground potential, and let's say you have an input pin 1 and input pin 2. If you want to sense this voltage VDC, one of the option is that you connect it to ground, and this point you connect it to the ground, and this point you connect it to one of the pin. Let's say you want to sense this load voltage also. So straightforwardly you will think that I'll connect it to another input pin, and this I'll connect it to the ground, so that you can sense this voltage V load. So again you will see this point and this point, both of them are connected to the ground together. So as a result, what you'll see that this point and these points are electrically shorted. So again, your circuit will get damaged if you turn on and off, you turn on the switching devices. So that is why you need isolation in sensing board also. Another issue is that this kind of microcontroller can take input signal in the range of 0 to 5 volt, sometime in the range of 0 to 3.3 volt. So one limitation is that they cannot take negative voltage. They can't take negative voltage. So how do you sense AC signals? Because for an application like inverter, your output is AC. So how do you sense AC signal? Similarly, you cannot feed a voltage more than 3.3 or 5 volt. More than 5 volt, not allowed. But in most of our power electronic application, you need voltage more than that. So how do you take care of this? So one of the simple way to take care is that you use professionally available sensing arrangement. For example, this is a current sensing arrangement. So there is a hole in this. So you pass the wire whose current you want to sense. And this is kind of a, principally it is kind of a current transformer. So in the secondary side, you get step up or step down current as per requirement. So that current you drop it in a resistance. So this gives you some voltage based on the resistance value. And then you feed it to some sort of op-amp circuit so that you can adjust the gain. And what happens is that finally, remember, you have to give protection. So I am assuming that your microcontroller can take only up to 3.3 volt. It cannot take negative volt. So here these two diodes are given over there. So the Zener diode will make sure that this voltage at this point is within 3.3 volt. As soon as the voltage try to exceed 3.3 volt, the Zener diode will turn on and it will limit the voltage. And when you have any negative voltage, that means this side plus, this side minus. So Zener diode will also conduct, but generally Zener diode turn on voltage is slightly higher. So you can use a Schottky diode so that this voltage is limited to very low value. So Schottky diode can give you maybe in the range of 0.2 to 0.4 volt, whereas Zener diode will be higher than that. So you put a Schottky diode to make sure that the negative voltage does not go to your device. So most of your microcontroller can withstand a negative voltage, generally up to 0.65. So that is why you don't rely entirely on the Zener diode. You use a Schottky diode in parallel to this. And I'm just telling you the block diagram. If you want to sense a AC voltage, what you do is that first, let's say if you have a 230 volt AC volt, so this peak is 325. So first you step it down. So it becomes a peak could be plus 1.5 and negative could be minus 1.5. That is how you do the step down. Then you add a signal of 1.5 volt. So that final signal looks something like this. Remember, I am assuming that maximum voltage I can allow is 3.3. So I am keeping some safety margin. So this maximum now will be 3 volt. And it is already DC, right? There is no AC part, no negative part. The negative part is not there. You have added a DC offset. So a simple way to add DC offset, you can use an op-amp. So you remember this simple op-amp architecture. So in this feedback path, you use a resistance, and in the ground path, if you directly connect this point to ground, that offset is not getting added up, but you can also add some offset here. Let's say plus 5 volt or 1.5 volt. So at the output, so without this offset, the output V out will be R2 by R1 into V in. Point. So generally, this kind of isolated professional gate drive, the sensor, their cost is more. So what you can do is that you can simply pass the signal to a differential amplifier having high impedance path in between, high resistance path. So that just let's assume that you are connecting a signal here. So when it is coming to your op-amp, it is passing through very high impedance path. So virtually you can think of that you are providing isolation, and that is how you can design your sensing circuit.